anything else? Is that it? Just violence, water, and football?
Television. Lots of television.
Which is what, exactly?
I thought I explained moving pictures to you.
Oh, is that connected to that, then? Oh, so Joe, you're... Oh, blast.
Yeah, we watch a lot of television.
Pardon me, Sir Joe.
Which also means we're really obese. America's the fattest place on Earth.
That's the world that you'd spoke of. Yes, the name of your planet. So essentially what you're saying is that because you remain connected to these virtual simulations most of the time, your bodies would decay, essentially. Like,
You need to speak up, I'm getting shot a lot.
My apologies. So what you're saying is that because you expose yourselves to these, virtual simulations most of the time, you remain hooked to them, that your bodies, wane away, essentially. They, start to decay, yet you are still alive, is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Too many video games, not enough exercise, makes a person fat.
Is there anything positive about your culture, then, Sado?
Is there any what?
Is there anything positive about your culture, then, Sado?
I suppose the stories in games are more interactive than books. And all the positivity comes from the interactive options. Not really much good physically.
So what you're saying is that these games essentially define your entire culture. Your culture is constructed around them. Goodness, then.
I'd say our culture's probably constructed a little bit around the TV.
Is that
and games are still seen as a niche. Most people still just watch TV and let that basically dictate their culture.
The TV is these moving pictures that you spoke of, yes?
Yeah, the television, basically literally moving pictures. Hell, even the news is basically just entertainment at this point.
What do you mean? Do people fabricate the truth? Or twist it, essentially, to suit their own ends? Or
pretty much, yeah. Or they just report less on important political things and more on, like, what celebrities are doing.
You mean famous individuals?
It's like, less politics, let's hear more about the next, movie stars and stuff like that.
Your culture strikes me as
kind of
very, very strange indeed. It just, I don't know, it seems focused on all these matters that strike me as rather trivial, but I suppose that,
America for you.
Well, I suppose that if your technology is so advanced that you can all afford to essentially remain hooked in simulations for pleasure most of the time, that, you clear. Well, no, you already said that you compete for resources, so I suppose that you're not that well off materially. Do you use it as a form of escapism, then, of forgetting your troubles by connecting to these simulations?
Pretty much.
Well, frankly, Sir Joe, I must say that, based off of what you have said, if you are correct that this is, your culture is the only one that is real, essentially, and that my world is not
the only one that's real. The only one that's relevant to me, though.
Fair enough. If your world is the only one that is essentially real, that my world is all essentially a fabrication of some sort, it does not seem like one that I would enjoy living in. It's rather frustrating. So if you were right, it was essentially come down to, do I keep living a lie, or do I accept a reality that is most unpleasant? Which is preferable?
That's partially why I suspect you might actually not be who you say you are. Denial is a powerful thing.
Again, Sir Joe, I do have these memories, though. It's not... Well, what you described as most unpleasant, I sincerely believe that, I am telling the truth. That is not to say that at this point I feel that you were intentionally lying to me. It all seems so infernally complicated. I don't suppose there's some way that we could essentially both be correct in our viewpoints now, is there? They do seem rather diametrically opposed. So, Joe?
Hmm?
I was saying
Kinda
that...
lost me there.
What?
You said you kind of lost me there. Something about being diametrically opposed.
Yes, as I was saying, I don't suppose that there is essentially some way that both of us to be correct about our viewpoints. They seem to oppose to one another.
Unless you traveled through space and time from another planet that we haven't discovered, no.
But when we first met, it was you that had come to me. Unless you were saying that the stasis process somehow... No, that doesn't make much sense. Could that have transported me, but surely I would have... No, because the skeletons and the zombies were remnants of Bracken's reign. So I must have still been, on Araxis, the world where I was raised and spent most of my life. So I suppose there was little room for compromise then. That's troubling.
Yeah. Did everything get all choppy for you?
Well, there appeared to be these... Within the concept of the simulation, there appear to be these drones that are messing with my instruments. But beyond that, no, not really.
I mean, like, outside of the instruments being messed with.
No, everything appears to be functioning normally as...
Okay, then it's just me.
Is your mech damaged?
Yes, but it happened before the mech got damaged.
Could it be that the simulation itself is, having errors? Wait, could that be our chance then, Sir Joe? If the simulation is weakened, perhaps, if there's a hole in its fabric of sorts, that we could essentially make a way out.
If you mean the simulation is gonna crash, then yeah, that could happen.
What do you mean by crash? That does not sound good. I've never heard the word crash used in a positive
code
context.
stops working properly, and then everything just shuts down hard.
Would that mean that we would wake up and wherever our bodies are being held? Wouldn't that be a good thing?
Well,
unless
if everything is what I think it is, and it's just a game, it would just go back to the desktop, and I'd be annoyed, and maybe some of the progress would be lost.
Of course,
if our brains are plugged into it, or we've actually teleported here like you think, then we might suffer catastrophic brain damage.
Yes, but if our minds are essentially connected to this simulation... Oh dear, that does sound rather dreadful. Perhaps we must blast it all. Alright, hold on, Sir Joe. I'm going to head to your position. Come on. There you are. Come on. Well, so what you're saying is it's only a matter of time before this simulation crashes and potentially, annihilates our minds. Oh dear, that does...
I don't know if it's a matter of time. Ideally, it wouldn't crash at all. Or if our brains are plugged into it, they'd have some
But
kind of
you've already seen
against
symptoms,
that.
though, is what you're saying.
I'm saying that could maybe happen, yeah.